Is Prince Harry really about to cross the line? With whispers of a documentary on his late mother, Princess Diana, the stakes have never been higher. What happens when the royal rebel risks everything to cash in on Diana's untouchable legacy? This could be the move that destroys his family and his future. Don't miss what's really going on behind the headlines. You won't believe what comes next. Prince Harry was once the royal family's favorite bad boy, the charming, reckless younger brother with a rebellious streak that somehow made him more relatable to the public. He was the one who could break the rules and still be loved, the one who seemed to have a shot at carving out a life beyond the heavy legacy of the monarchy. But that was then. Fast forward to today, and it's almost painful to watch. A man who once had endless potential now seems lost in a sea of bad decisions. His every move, a desperate attempt to hold on to a relevance that's slowly slipping away. The truth is, Harry's life after stepping back from royal duties has been anything but smooth sailing. He left behind the palace, took the world by storm with bold promises of change, but it hasn't exactly panned out. Despite signing high-profile deals with Netflix and Spotify, the reality of life as an ex-royal has been less glamorous than he imagined. The glitzy contracts haven't translated into the kind of success or stability he hoped for, and the financial pressures are mounting. Harry's lifestyle demands a fortune, from security costs to maintaining his family's expensive habits. But the money just isn't flowing the way it should. And now rumors are swirling that he's ready to do the unthinkable cash in on his mother's legacy to stay afloat. This isn't just about money, it's about survival. Harry has hit a point where the only way out seems to be the most shocking and controversial move he could possibly make, using Princess Diana's name and memory to fuel his career. The stakes are high, but could it destroy everything he's left behind, including his family ties? Let's dive into why this move might be the one that changes everything for Harry again. Why Diana? Why now? For Prince Harry, the answer is as clear as it is desperate. Diana's legacy is the last untouched card in his deck, his final chance to stay relevant in a world that seems to have moved on. Since stepping away from royal duties, Harry has already bared his soul in his memoir, throwing grenades at his father, brother, and even the late Queen Elizabeth. He's aired his grievances for the world to see, but it hasn't brought him the kind of redemption he might have hoped for. The spotlight he once enjoyed has dimmed, and the public's sympathy is wearing thin. So, what does a royal rebel do when there's nothing left to say? He goes after the one thing the world still cares about, the most beloved member of the royal family, his mother, Princess Diana. There's no question that her name still holds unimaginable power. She's an icon, a figure who transcends the royal family and is revered around the world. For Harry, this could be the perfect way to reclaim some of that royal shine he's lost. But it's not just about honoring her, it's about owning her memory. By putting Diana at the center of a Netflix documentary, Harry would be claiming the very heart of the royal story. It's a move that would send shockwaves through the royal family, particularly to his brother, Prince William. Diana was not just Harry's mother, she was William's too, and for Harry to take her memory, to turn it into a product for profit, would feel like a betrayal of the most profound kind. It's not just about money, it's about who controls the legacy. And for Harry, this could be the last play in his battle for relevance. If Prince Harry proceeds with his plans to profit from his mother's legacy, the fallout could be catastrophic. The relationship between Harry and his brother William is already on fragile ground, but this move could shatter it entirely. Diana's memory is sacred to both of them, a shared bond that has always tied them together despite their differences. For Harry to take her image, her story, and use it as a tool for financial gain would not only be seen as a betrayal by William, but by the public as well. In the world of royalty, legacy is everything. Diana's legacy has been preserved with reverence, held in a place of deep respect by both the royal family and the public. To commodify that legacy, turning it into a spectacle for Netflix would feel like nothing short of theft. The royal family has long kept certain parts of their history untouchable, Diana's life being one of them. But if Harry, in his desperation, pushes ahead with this documentary, it would mark a turning point. William, who has always been the protector of the monarchy's dignity, would likely see this as a violation of everything he's worked to protect. What's at stake here isn't just a family rift, it's a fundamental shift in the balance of power within the royal family. Harry's desire to control Diana's memory could drive an irreversible wedge between him and William. The monarchy itself is built on unity, tradition, and respect for history. By turning Diana's story into a product, Harry would not only risk alienating his brother, but he would also place a permanent scar on their shared royal heritage. There would be no coming back from that. The divide would be too deep, the betrayal too painful, and the family too torn to ever heal. While the royal lifestyle might seem like a never-ending flow of wealth and privilege, Harry and Meghan's new life in California tells a very different story. On paper, stepping away from royal duty should have opened the door to a world of opportunities, contracts with major platforms like Netflix and Spotify, lucrative speaking engagements, and the chance to build a new life outside the confines of the monarchy. But in reality, the floodgates never opened. Instead, they're facing the harsh reality of trying to maintain a lavish lifestyle without the financial support of the royal family. The couple's publicized deals have largely fallen flat. Their Spotify podcast, meant to be their big ticket to success, was abruptly dropped after a series of underwhelming episodes. Netflix, too, has shown little interest in a follow-up to their documentary series and the much-hyped Polo documentary. It flopped harder than anyone could have predicted. The reality of being an ex-royal with fading star power is hitting Harry hard, and now, he's desperate to find a way to fund his increasingly expensive life. Harry's financial problems go beyond missed deals. His lifestyle demands constant funding. Security costs alone are estimated at $2 to $3 million per year. Add to that the mortgage, staff salaries, children's education, and Meghan's business ventures, and the pressure mounts. But it doesn't stop there. Harry has already sunk millions into royal expenses, including the $3 million spent renovating Frogmore Cottage and another $3 million lost in legal battles over royal security. This isn't just a case of being well off. This is a ticking time bomb. In the face of these financial pressures, Harry's situation has become increasingly desperate. The question is no longer how to make a living, but how to survive without losing everything. Enter the potential Diana documentary. Harry's final move to cash in on his mother's untouchable legacy is the perfect solution to his mounting bills and dwindling options. But with every step, he risks not only his family's unity, but the very image of his mother, turning her legacy into another piece of royal drama for the world to consume. Harry and Meghan have denied the rumors about the Diana documentary. But let's be honest, how much weight do those denials really carry at this point? This couple has made a habit of denying things, only for those same things to show up later, often in the most unexpected and profitable ways. Remember when Harry swore he'd never write a tell-all book? That was before his memoir hit the shelves, dragging half the family through the mud. The pattern is clear: deny, 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 until the timing is right, and then drop the bomb. If the documentary is in the works, it wouldn't be the first time Harry has spun a story about his family. But this time, the stakes are higher. The rumors surrounding the Diana project have been swirling for months, and it seems like only a matter of time before an official announcement comes. But why Diana? Why now? The answer isn't as innocent as it may seem. Diana's image is the last untouched royal relic, and for Harry, it's the final leverage he has left. His memoir gave him a voice, but it didn't bring him the success or the power he hoped for. His documentary deals have underperformed, his reputation is tarnished, and his financial future is uncertain. So what's left for a man desperate to regain his place in the spotlight? The answer is simple, Diana. She's not just a memory, she's a brand. And in a world where fame and fortune go hand in hand, her name is the one thing that could give Harry the relevance he craves. At the heart of Prince Harry's potential documentary about his mother is more than just financial desperation. It's a power play. This isn't just about making money or reliving Diana's legacy. It's about controlling the narrative, staking his claim on a part of royal history that was never truly his to own. Diana's memory is sacred, untouchable by most, but for Harry, it's the final frontier in his ongoing battle for relevance. By attempting to capture and manipulate her image, Harry is not simply honoring his mother. He's positioning himself as the key figure in a royal saga that has always been out of his reach. Harry's relationship with the royal family has always been one of rebellion and distance. He was the fun, free-spirited younger prince, someone who could get away with breaking the rules because he wasn't bound by the same expectations as his older brother William. But in recent years, his public image has shifted. The once charming royal, beloved for his humor and relatability, now seems consumed by bitterness, frustration, and an overwhelming need to strike back at the very system that once gave him power. Diana was never the villain in this story. She fought for change, she broke free from the stifling expectations of the monarchy, and she became a symbol of compassion and grace. But for Harry, the royal family has become a source of constant tension. His mother, the woman who gave him everything, is now being used as the ultimate weapon in his fight against the family he left behind. In claiming Diana's legacy, Harry isn't just honoring her memory, he's declaring ownership of a piece of history that could give him the power and significance he's been chasing ever since he stepped out of the spotlight. If you think Prince Harry is the only one pulling the strings in this royal drama, think again. Meghan, his wife, has become the silent force behind many of his decisions, including the controversial move to turn Diana's legacy into a documentary. While Harry may be the one in the spotlight, it's Meghan's relentless drive for status, visibility, and influence that seems to be pushing him further down this dangerous path. She isn't just along for the ride, she's steering the ship. Meghan, despite her claims of wanting to live a private, peaceful life, has always been driven by the allure of public attention. She's tried to present herself as the modern-day Diana misunderstood, victimized by the establishment, and deserving of the world's sympathy. But while Diana's persona was built on vulnerability, authenticity, and genuine emotional connection, Meghan's feels, at times, carefully constructed, almost scripted. There's a calculated quality to everything she does, from her public appearances to the projects she endorses. At the heart of this whole situation lies a painful truth. Diana's legacy was never meant to be a commodity. She was a woman who struggled with the pressures of fame, constantly under the microscope, and yet she used her platform to bring attention to important causes. She wasn't a pawn to be moved around for profit. She was a symbol of vulnerability, compassion, and human connection. To turn her story into a product, a piece of content for a streaming platform, is to risk erasing everything she stood for. For Harry, however, the idea of cashing in on Diana's legacy might seem like a smart move, a way to salvage his fading career. The royal family and the public still hold Diana in an almost untouchable regard, and if Harry can tap into that reverence, he may be able to secure his financial future and, in his mind, restore some of his lost power. But there's a deeper cost to this decision that Harry and those around him seem to be overlooking: the emotional and moral toll it takes on Diana's legacy. When Harry uses his mother's memory to fuel his personal ambitions, he risks tarnishing her name in a way that can never be undone. Diana's image, which once represented grace under pressure, kindness, and a commitment to humanitarian work, becomes just another asset to be exploited. The very qualities that made her so beloved, her humanity, her vulnerability, and her willingness to speak out for what was right, could be overshadowed by the narrative that Harry and Meghan are crafting. If Harry goes through with this documentary, it won't just be a breach of family trust, it will be the final nail in the coffin of his relationship with William and the royal family. There's no coming back from this. The royal family has weathered its fair share of public spats and scandals, but using Diana's memory as a cash grab could be the ultimate act of betrayal, one that no amount of apologies or PR could fix. Diana wasn't just a mother to Harry, she was the symbol of what the royal family could and should be. To exploit her for profit would feel like a theft of the most precious part of their shared history. William has always been the protector of the monarchy's legacy, carrying the weight of preserving the institution for future generations. For him, Diana wasn't just his mother. She was the heart of the royal family, someone who believed in change but never lost sight of the importance of tradition. Harry, on the other hand, has carved a path of rebellion. Over time, his resentment toward the family has grown, and now it seems like there's nothing left to hold him back. But taking Diana's image and turning it into content is more than just a personal attack. It's a strike at the heart of everything William has worked to protect. If Prince Harry follows through with the Diana documentary, the damage could be far more significant than any of us might expect. This wouldn't just be another royal scandal or tabloid drama. It would be the moment when the rift between him and the rest of the royal family becomes a permanent divide. No matter how much the media might try to spin it, the fallout would be immense. It would send a loud, clear message: reconciliation is no longer possible. The brothers, once so close, would be irreparably torn apart. Diana's memory, once a shared bond that united them, would now be the battlefield for a war that could never be won. There's no coming back from turning her into content for streaming platforms, no mending the relationship once her image is turned into a product. William, already hurt by Harry's actions over the years, would see this as the ultimate betrayal. not just because it involves their mother's legacy, but because it's a blatant act of exploitation, something that goes against everything Diana stood for. She wanted peace, understanding, and compassion, not to be paraded for profit. In the end, Harry may get what he wants in terms of fame and attention, but he will have lost so much more in the process. He could lose the respect of his family, the public's admiration, and any hope of ever repairing the fractured relationship with William. The cost of exploiting Diana's legacy, of turning her memory into content, might be more than Harry bargained for. And once that bridge is burned, there's no turning back. It would be the final, most devastating chapter in a story that began with two brothers, bound by love, and could end with nothing but division and regret.